Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. And my name is Dan, and today we are doing a Game Week 12 free hit video for you guys. Now, I don't even particularly recommend using a free hit right now. I'm not going to be using mine. If you can get to like 10 players taking a -4 or a -8, I would probably rather do that personally. But I appreciate everyone's going to be in slightly different situations. Some people are going to be beyond help in terms of using transfers to fix their Game Week 12 team, and in which case, maybe a free hit could be for you. So have a look at this free hit team, see if you like it, and then maybe you can consider using it. And if you do enjoy this video, please do leave a like and make sure you're subscribed as well, because we're going to be streaming later on today. So make sure you got those notifications on, and we'll talk a little bit more about the free hits and whether you should, whether you shouldn't, and what kind of scenarios you would need to free hit or not. Okay, let's have a look at this team then. The team value is 100.4 million, so slightly above the 100 million kind of bracket, but I imagine by now a lot of you guys are going to be slightly above that 100 team value, and even if you're not, maybe you can make some slight modifications to this team to make it work for you. Let's start off in goal with Goalkeeper. Obviously, Goalkeeper is a player I've spoken a lot about. He had a really good game week 11, and I was kind of just kicking myself thinking, why did I not go for Goalkeeper myself? I've been recommending him for so long, but on a free hit, you can have whoever you want. So why not go for Goalkeeper? Great fixture against Wolves at home. Still a little bit differential. In fact, the Crystal Palace defence is still quite differential. So going on there for this really favourable fixture, even for one game week only, could be really, really beneficial for you. Into defence, we have got Kieran Trippier. Everton at home. We know what Kieran Trippier can do in ways of attack. A lot of these fixtures around right now are not ideal for Kieran Trippier. You know, we've got we've got Spurs on one side, Man United on the other side, but we've got this Everton fixture in the middle, which you actually would probably quite like Trippier for. So a good opportunity for a clean sheet. Everton not doing too much in ways of attack, and a decent amount of creativity, I suppose, moving forward up the pitch as well. So Trippier looks like a good pick for a free hit for sure, and you'd even consider picking him up on a transfer if you don't have him already. Next up, we have got Webster, Nottingham Forest. This is kind of the it's the fixture, right? It's a fixture that everyone's looking to target, and I would say that this is a real opportunity to go on some Brighton defenders if you don't have them already. I know a lot of you guys are going to be either transferring in Brighton defenders or have already done that, but if you haven't, free hit gives you that opportunity again to go in on some Brighton players, and for 4.5 million, you get essentially he's basically the player in FPL who is taking has the best XG per appearance of kind of any defender. Webster is taking a lot of shots on from these set pieces. He really is the set piece attacker. Like, all of the stats point towards Webster. If you're looking for any cheap defender in general, I'm not even just talking about the Brighton defenders. Like, Webster is one of the top picks for defenders in terms of the quantity of shots that he's taken. He's just that aerial threat over the course of this season, far better than his teammates, Dunk and whatever. So yeah, looking really good. Definitely would be going for him right now against this really easy fixture against Nottingham Forest, again at home, which really helps. A lot of these picks that we're going to be going for today are home fixtures. Really, really nice. And we're going to finish the defence with Anderson. So pretty cheap on defence. You're not going to be too surprised by that. We are doubling up on the Crystal Palace defence, and I feel like, you know, on a free hit, it's time to take a couple of risks and maybe just try it out. Obviously, Crystal Palace kept a clean sheet last game week. This fixture, you would say, is easier. Wolves at home. Is there going to be an opportunity for a clean sheet? Oh, yeah, I really think so. And Anderson is another one of those players who's doing really well in terms of being a good aerial threat in Premier League games so far this season. He's even scored already this season as well, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, 4.5 million. You can't really go wrong. Differential, again, a lot of these defenders, because everyone's so invested in the expensive defenders, these cheap defenders go, like, with these really nice fixtures are actually real differential. So you can really actually get ahead of a lot of people who won't even be thinking about these players right now, won't even be considering these cheap defenders who have fantastic fixtures, fantastic underlying stats, and everything just points towards them. So I like this. It also allows us to spend a lot more money in the forward positions, and you're going to see in the midfield, this midfield is absolutely stacked with bank, basically. Let's move on into midfield. We've got Salah first of all, and ordinarily I wouldn't really probably recommend Salah because he's too expensive for what he is, but at the same time, it's kind of a situation where we've got a lot of free money. You know, with no Man City players to pick from, with no Arsenal players to pick from, you kind of may as well just splash the cash, I guess. And we saw Salah. Obviously, I'm recording this video before the Man City versus Liverpool game in game week 11, but we saw in the Champions League Salah score a hat-trick, which is probably going to do some bits for his confidence. I wonder how he's going to do in this City game this afternoon when I watch it, but I would have to say that if he performs pretty well, he's definitely going to be on the radar in terms of our free hit teams. So, yeah, I think I would go for Salah. Obviously, he's not an absolute must, and there are some other options, but if you just want to kind of spend all of the money, you kind of have to pick the expensive players. And although we hate Salah because, he's not getting enough points for his value, when money is no issue, why not go for him is all I'm saying. And it's an extra penalty taker as well. The fixture is okay against West Ham there. Like, you could do worse technically. It's not a great fixture, but it's not a horrible fixture. I think it's just an okay pick, which, who cares on a free hit? You get rid. He goes out of the team again the following game week, so you don't really need to worry too much. Son is next. So yeah, Son, another premium player for the sake of getting a premium player. And what I should say on some of these premium players, like I know West Ham or Man United, these are not amazing fixtures, right? These are not fixtures we would typically target, but you have to kind of accept that the top players in the world, the top players in the Premier League, these players are going to score better than the cheaper players, even when the cheaper players have better fixtures. Like, because they are world-class players, they'll do it against anyone. They'll do it against Manchester United. They'll do it against West Ham. They'll do it against anyone, which is why we're going to go for players like Son and not really care that the fixture isn't amazing. Like, in terms of premiums, who else are you going to go for? There is no Haaland. There is no De Bruyne. You're probably not going to go for the Manchester United guys like, Bruno Fernandes or Cristiano Ronaldo. You're probably not going to go for those guys. So it leaves you with limited amounts of options and you have to spend your money. And it's better to spend the money on these expensive guys than to go for, cheap guys who are, even if they have better fixtures, still not going to score as well as the expensive guys. So yeah, Son is expensive for a reason. Let's put him in. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can do anything against Manchester United. He's a good enough player that he can produce these moments of magic, which we've seen time and time and time again, particularly over the last few weeks, but more importantly, consistently over years and years by this point. Next up, we've got Raheem Sterling. Yes, we are spending more money in the midfield. There is so much money to spend. There is so much cash to splash. We can go in all of these kind of premium, high value players. It's insane, right? But Brentford, I actually think, is a pretty decent fixture. So I think that's a good thing about Sterling, is that it's actually kind of nice. And I would consider going for some other Chelsea players as well. There is potential. If you're on a free hit and you're not too worried about risk, there's potential to go for players like Mason Mount or maybe Aubameyang as well if you wanted to. If you wanted to, you really didn't want to go for Salah, for example, and you wanted to go in for some more expensive Chelsea players, then that is an option as well. I don't think you absolutely have to maximise on Chelsea. Just because Chelsea, are they known for scoring a lot of goals recently? Probably not. Brentford have been pretty decent defensively over the last couple of weeks as well. It is an away fixture as well. I don't know. I feel like Brentford is a fixture where you can score a couple of goals, which is why we have got Sterling. Sterling is the biggest attacking threat at Chelsea right now, and what usually puts us off is his price. But since that's not an issue, it gives us an opportunity to go for Sterling, so I like this. And finally, we're going to finish off the midfield with Trossard, who I think is like Captain Obvious, in a way, of kind of midfielders to pick. He's up to 6.9 million now, by the way, guys. So he's absolutely rocketing in price, which is quite insane. But yeah, again, this Nottingham Forest game, this is the fixture, right, to target. It's a really, really nice fixture. This, probably Nottingham Forest and Fulham are the two teams you want to be targeting the most at the moment. You maybe add Leicester in there, although they've kind of bounced back a little bit defensively. Weird situation. But yeah, Trossard, we like this a lot. He's kind of been really good overall this season, to be fair, and he's playing in a more attacking position now. He seems to be nailed on in these slightly more attacking positions. He's not playing as so much of a wing-back as he was previously, although he is pretty versatile. But yeah, he's taken a lot of shots on, and it's really good to see him creating as well. And I think in this game, it's kind of set up for him to do really well. We saw what he did against Liverpool a couple of game weeks ago, and you would expect that at Nottingham Forest at home, he could do a very, very similar job. So really, really like this pick. It would be probably one of the first names on this team sheet, especially given his great value for money in this game week. Going up front, we have got Harry Kane. So again, we're spending the money. We're spending the money. We have to spend it somewhere. But Harry Kane, I think, is a really obvious one. Another player that you'd say is probably one of the first names on the team sheet because of his consistency. He is scoring pretty much every single game week, isn't he, this season? It really is quite mad, his consistency. So I really, really like this pick a lot. Even a game against Manchester United, you wouldn't say Manchester United are like one of the best defences in the league. They haven't been too tough to break down so far this season. Even since their turnaround of form, they still are conceding goals. So I would say that Kane is a really, really good pick for this game week, and I would definitely be continually confident in his great returns. He's just going to keep doing it, and maybe he's going to get a penalty, and who knows? I wouldn't doubt it, to be honest. And next up, we've got Welbeck. Again, another Brighton player against Nottingham Forest. And I do like this Brighton team for how attacking they are. Welbeck has looked really good as well. I think he's a bit of a strange pick, and I know a lot of people are going to go, oh, Welbeck, that's a bit of an odd one. But his underlying numbers are really good. He is still getting goal contributions, and you would expect if you were targeting fixtures, then this is probably the forward we want to go for. Other options, though, are players like, you know, you can maybe go for Callum Wilson, for example. There are some other options. You don't have to go for a Welbeck. But, or you know, you could go in on, like I said, a Aubameyang potentially. Or you could go for another Liverpool forward. You go for a Firmino or a like a Nunez or a Jota if you wanted to. But yeah, I'm going to put in Welbeck. I think there are other ways of rejiggling this team around a little bit. For example, taking out Salah and moving the money up front a little bit and maybe put a little bit more money in defence. I think that is an option for you. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to put in Welbeck because I kind of think I would rather go for Salah for his nailedness and then go for Welbeck up front for the great and insane fixture that he has. And I think, you know, he'll probably do pretty well. And he's, you know, playing games and playing in that really advanced position, the most advanced player on the pitch. And he's fairly creative for a forward as well. So, yeah, lots of things to like about Welbeck. I like him. And finally, we're going to finish off the first 11 with Solanke, who I'm sure Solanke owners over the last couple of game weeks will be very, very pleased. It's a game against Southampton at home. Bournemouth seem to have really improved their form. They actually look like a bit of an outfit this season, which is I think has surprised us all. And Solanke has kind of been at the forefront of all of it. So, more Solanke stuff. I tell you what, if Bournemouth got given a few more penalties recently as well, then maybe Solanke would have even more returns. It is really quite mad. But yeah, really cheap as well, 5.7 million. So he is one of the more enabling players, I guess, in this team, which is pretty decent. But yeah, I think he completes this team fairly nicely. Let's go onto the bench, guys, very quickly. I've got Iverson here, 3.9 million, which I think is a good price for him, I guess. Look, you're looking for some cheap players on the bench. We know Guaita is going to play. Is there any point in spending any money on the bench? Probably not. So Iverson, 3.9 million. Fine. We'll take it. If there was a 3.8 million goalkeeper, I'd probably go for him instead. We've got James Justin, who I think is actually could be okay. I think it's a good backup option. I think there could potentially be a bit of rotation this game week because it's a midweek fixtures. I think there is potential for some rotation, so I wonder if Justin is going to be a decent little cover there. 4.3 million, so pretty cheap. Although if you want to spend a little bit more money on your bench, I do completely understand. We have got Jacob Murphy there as well, 4.3 million. Really good value again there for a player who's in pretty good form. Is he going to start against Everton? Possibly, possibly not. Not 100% sure, but he's been playing pretty well. And maybe he's going to be some adequate cover for some of your players if they do get rested in the midweek games. And then finally, we've got Wilson Esbrand, the only 3.8 million player in the game. He plays for Man City. He's 3.8 million defender. If you can slot him in that third bench slot just to save a little bit of cash, why not? Makes sense to me, right? So there we go. Let's put a captain's armband on Kane. I think Mr. Consistency has to get the armband. Although I have to say that a lot of the algorithms are actually pointing towards Salah as the best captain. So if you trust the computers, maybe Salah is your captaincy for game week 12. But I think Kane seems to be the one for me. I just feel more comfortable. I'm more safe with Kane, given his consistency and Salah's lack thereof. But we'll put the vice captain on Salah anyway. And there we have it, guys. That is a free hit team for game week 12. I think there is potential to swap things around. Like I said, if you remove Salah, that really does give the opportunity to upgrade Welbeck. You could maybe go for some different. You go for Mason Mount maybe in midfield instead of that. You could maybe go for Pope in goal if you're not comfortable doubling up on the I guess Crystal Palace defence. You could even go for Alisson or someone else. Like, if you really fancy the Liverpool defence, I probably wouldn't be too confident in the Liverpool defence, but there is an option there. West Ham aren't scoring an insane amount of goals, but they do seem to be improving in that regard. And maybe even a Jared Bowen. If you fancy Jared Bowen against Liverpool, I think that is an option as well. So there's a few other players you can maybe throw in here if you quite fancied it. But overall, this team looks really nice. And if I was free hitting in game week 12, I believe my team would look a lot like this, which is pretty good. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please do leave a like. It really does help out the channel so much. And do subscribe if you're new around here. I know a lot of you guys watching this video will not be subscribed. Get subscribed, guys. What are you waiting for? We've got plenty more FPL content on here for you guys. And we'll hopefully be able to help you out in the stream that we're doing, the strategy stream that will be streamed and then uploaded later on this evening, which we're going to be talking more about free hits in that one. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Check out the stream later. More content coming tomorrow and on Tuesday. And I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.